The leftmost column shows the note names, the root of each chord. On the front side we have chords built on the 7 natural notes, and for each note there are 7 common chord types. A major triad is made up of the root, the major third, and the fifth. A minor triad has the root, the flat third, and the fifth. A major 7th chord adds the 7th root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. A dominant 7th chord includes the flat 7th instead root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7th. A minor 7th chord is root, flat 3rd, 5th, and flat 7th. A diminished triad is root, flat 3rd, and flat 5th, and a half diminished 7th chord adds a flat 7th root, flat 3rd, flat 5th, and flat 7th. These 7 types are the most commonly used chords. One important thing to note: when we say flat 3rd, flat 5th, or flat 7th, we're comparing them to the notes in a major chord. In other words, the flats are relative to the major version. For example, a C major chord is C E G. The C minor chord would be C flat G. The C major 7th is C E G B 1, 3, 5, 7. The C dominant 7th is C E G B flat. The C minor 7th is C E flat G B flat. And the C half diminished 7th is C E flat G flat B flat. Now, some chords are naturally minor. For instance, the A minor chord that is a C E. It already has the flat 3rd built-in root, flat 3rd, and 5th, when we compare it to the A major chord which is a C sharp E. The A minor simply drops that sharp back down to C. So instead of a raised 3rd, it is brought back to natural. A C E 6, 1, 3. The A major 7th chord is a C sharp E G sharp. For the A dominant 7th we lower that G sharp down to G. So it is a C sharp E G. And the A minor 7th is a C E G. So the chord formulas are all based on the major triad or the major 7th chord, then adjusted up or down from there. It is not about adding something new. For example, take any chord built from notes like A, C, and E, or E, G, and B. The notes E, G, and B by themselves already form a minor triad. So when we play an E major chord, the notes are E, G sharp, and B. That could be E, G sharp, and B, or E, G sharp, B, and D sharp if we include the major 7 from that E major 7 chord. If we lower certain tones, we can turn it into a minor 7 chord, a dominant 7 chord, or even a half diminished 7 chord. That is the basic principle behind chord formulas. Now let us start with the C chord. It is built from the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. Technically, the note on the 6th string is also part of the chord, but in normal playing, we usually start from the root note. So if your hands are big enough, you can use your thumb to lightly touch the 6th string, so it stays muted. That way, your sound starts cleanly from the 5th string. For the C minor chord, root, flat 3rd, and 5th, we do the same thing: mute the 6th string with your index finger, or simply start strumming from the 5th string. For C major 7, it has the same shape, but lift your index finger slightly. Now you've got root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. And again, don't play the 6th string. For C dominant 7, we add a flat 7th to the basic C chord. So it becomes root 3rd, flat 7th, root, and 3rd. Skipping the 5th. That is the standard C dominant 7 chord we all use. For C minor 7, start from your C minor shape. Then lift your pinky. ULL have root, 5th, flat 7th, flat 3rd, and 5th. Now for C diminished. This is a triad with a specific shape. ULL, notice there is no 5th shown on the 6th string, because that note would actually be a flat 5th. If we added the normal 5th from the 6th string, it wouldn't fit the chord. so we just play from the 5th string instead. We also skip the 1st string, since its open note is in E. And the C diminished chord is C flat G flat. That open E doesn't belong here. So this chord shape only uses the inner strings. Next is C half diminished 7. It is built from the root, flat 5th, flat 7th, and flat 3rd. These are the most common C chord shapes, and if barring feels uncomfortable, you can also play it using for separate fingers. That works too. Now let us move to the D chord. The note on the 6th string is E. That is not part of the D chord. A D chord is built from D, F, and A. Those 3 notes make up the triad. Whether the F or A is sharp or natural doesn't change the basic structure. Since the 6th string is E, that note clearly doesn't belong here. So we absolutely don't play the 6th string. The 5th string gives us the 5th of the chord. But usually we start strumming from the root, which is on the 4th string. So for D major, you mainly strum the top 4 strings 1 through 4. That keeps the sound clean. If you include the 5th string, the tone starts to get a bit muddy, right? So yes, it is root, 5th, root, and 3rd, starting from the 4th string. For D minor, we have root, flat 3rd, and 5th. For D major 7, it is root, 5th, 7th, and 3rd. For D dominant 7, it is root, 5th, flat 7th, and 3rd. And for D minor 7, root, 5th, flat 7th, and flat 3rd. Now for D diminished, you can bury with your index finger and use your pinky to grab the upper note. Either fingering is fine. The notes are root, flat 5th, and flat 3rd. A strange, tense sounding chord, but very useful. Finally, the half diminished chord. Root, flat 5th, flat 7th, and flat 3rd. You can simply bury 3 strings with your index finger to play it cleanly. Next, let us look at the E chord. The open 6th string is already the root note E. That means this chord uses all 6 strings. The E major chord is built from root, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, and root. For E minor, we still play all 6 strings, root, 5th, root, flat 3rd, 5th, root. For E major 7, we change the note on the 4th string from a root to a 7th. So it becomes root, 5th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, root. For E dominant 7, we lower that 7th note by a half step, so the shape is root, 5th, flat 7th, 3rd, 5th, root. For E minor 7, we take the 3rd on the 3rd string and drop it a half step to a flat 3rd, and that open string becomes part of the chord, so it is root, 5th, flat 7th, flat 3rd, 5th, root. For E diminished, as we mentioned earlier, there aren't many practical shapes for this one, so we'll play it up at the 7th fret. That note is also an E, and here the root is on the 5th string. This shape is the same as the C diminished shape we used earlier, just moved up to the E position. For E minor 7 flat 5, we take the root from the 4th string. Then add the top 3 strings. The notes are root, flat 5th, flat 7th, and flat 3rd. Now moving on to F, the logic is the same as the E chord. Since F is basically the E shape moved up 1 fret, we'll talk more about how these shapes connect later in the caged system. But for now, just understand this structure. Root, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, root. F minor is the same shape, but with the 3rd lowered, so we have root, 5th, root, flat 3rd, 5th, root. For F major 7, the structure is root, 5th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, root. For F dominant 7, it is root, 5th, flat 7th, 3rd, 5th, root. F minor 7 is literally just E minor 7 moved up 1 fret. The exact same shape. Next, for F diminished, you can use a shape involving the 6th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. Use your thumb or index finger to grab the 6th string. Keep in mind the 5th and 4th strings aren't a part of this chord, so don't play them. If you raise strumming, just slightly mute them with your fingers, so they stay silent. And next, the F half diminished 7. You can use your thumb to fret the 6th string again, or just your index finger, either way works fine. Now let us look at the G chord. This is one of the most common shapes. It is made up of root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd, and root. For G minor, we switch to a barre shape. The notes are root, 5th, root, flat 3rd, 5th, root. For G major 7, you can play it in a few different ways. If one shape feels too tight, you can just play the 1st string note and skip the 5th string. Mute the 5th with the side of your ring finger. Even without that note, the sound and flavor of the chord stay exactly the same. So when we play a G chord, we can totally skip that 3rd on the 5th string. The chord is still complete without it. Even when we arpeggiate the chord, that 5th string 3rd is rarely used, almost never, actually. The only time we use that 5th string note is when playing an inversion, where that 3rd becomes the bass note. In that case, we usually don't fret or play the 6th string at all. Next, G7 adds a flat 7th on the 1st string. For G minor 7 and G diminished, we use strings 6, 3, 2, and 1. You can fret the 6th string either with your thumb or your index finger. And for G half diminished 7, same idea, either finger position works just fine. Now for the A chord. It works just like the C chord. The 5th string is the root of the chord, and the open 6th string is the 5th note. We usually start strumming from the root, so in most cases we don't play the 6th string. Use your thumb to lightly touch and mute the 6th string. Then strum strings 5 through 1 for the A chord. The A minor chord works the same way. Use your thumb to mute the 6th string so it doesn't ring out. When you strum that muted string 1 to make any sound, then we have a major 7, a 7, a minor 7, and a diminished. Notice these shapes use only for strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. The A half diminished 7 chord also uses those same for strings. Next, the B chord is on the 2nd fret. You'll see a small T marked below, meaning we ray at the 2nd fret. And like before, we don't play the 6th string. Use the tip of your index finger to gently touch and mute the 6th string. You only press that string if you specifically need to play it. Otherwise, just let it stay muted. You can play it this way or this way, then comes B minor. Next are B major 7 and B7. That B7 is a very common chord, and it also starts from the 5th string. Both of these shapes are B7 chords. Then we have B minor 7, B diminished, and B half diminished. On the back, you'll see chords built on the 5 altered tones we mentioned before for C sharp or D flat. Whether we call it C sharp or D flat depends on the key, whether it is a sharp key or a flat key. We'll cover that in the section about modes. Now, let us look at C sharp. This chord is played on the 4th fret. I am using my ring finger here. Then we have C sharp minor, C sharp major 7, C sharp 7, C sharp minor 7, C sharp diminished, and C sharp minor 7 flat 5. All of these shapes use only for strings. Next is D sharp played at the 6th fret in this position. The D sharp chord starts from the 5th string. Then we have D sharp minor, D sharp major 7, D sharp 7, D sharp minor 7, and D sharp diminished. For the half diminished 7, we use this D sharp. That note is also the root on the 4th string. These chord shapes are just one example of several possible voicings. Later in the caged system section, we'll go over how each chord can be played in multiple positions across the fretboard. Now the F sharp chord played on the 2nd fret. Then we have F sharp minor, F sharp major 7, F sharp 7, F sharp minor 7, and F sharp diminished. You can use fingers 1, 2, and 3 or use your thumb if that feels better. For the half diminished 7 as well. Finally, we have a sharp. Its root is back on the 5th string, 1st fret. We have a sharp, a sharp minor, a sharp major 7, a sharp 7, a sharp minor 7, a sharp diminished, and a sharp half diminished 7. After going through all these chords, you can start to notice a pattern. Chords built on A, B, or C all have their roots on the 5th string. So when we play arpeggios or strum patterns, we generally start from that 5th string. For the chords named D, F, or G, their roots begin on the 6th string. That means G chords use all 6 strings. And both E and E minor are also full 6-string chords. Chords that start with D like D, D minor, or D minor 7, all begin from the 4th string. So to sum it up, A, B, and C chords start from the 5th string, E, F, and G chords start from the 6th string, and D chords start from the 4th string.